Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. Today I'm delighted to be joined by my good friend, Russ Hornung, who is the Business Development Manager for Drug Delivery and Packaging at Gore. And today we're going to be talking about silicone-free prefilled syringe packaging, which Russ is actually going to be talking about next week at the 10th American Drug Delivery and Formulation Summit, which obviously is now virtual, but it was going to be in San Diego. So Russ, how are you, my friend? Long time no see.
I'm doing good, trying to hold up through the COVID challenges, but doing well.
Yeah, well, the last time you and I saw each other was way back in March, I think, actually, when we were in Berlin for the European Drug Delivery Formulation Summit. And a lot has changed since then, hasn't it, my friend?
Oh, it really has. The world has changed.
Right. Well, before we start talking about silicone-free prefilled syringe packaging, perhaps you could tell people a little bit about Gore, because they may be familiar with Gore-Tex and all that stuff, but they may not be familiar with what you're doing within life sciences. So could you give me a quick overview of the business?
Yeah, Gore has a pretty long history in, first off, Gore is a material science company. We're really focused on fluoropolymers predominantly, and specifically PTFE and PTFE-based fluoropolymers. And we have a long history of working with pharma and biologic companies, really on the processing side, to support their needs, be it in lyophilization, bulk lyophilization, durable bags that have very low extractables, stay pure tubing, which provides a pure, cleaner tubing. We've introduced chroma devices in the last year or two, and then specifically what I'm working on is drug delivery and formulation. And the applications we're working on is for the prefilled syringes, where we're providing a plunger that is silicone-free, totally silicone-free, and it enables a bare glass or silicone-free syringe, so that the customers, the pharma and biologic customers, have a really clean environment for their drugs void of the silicone.
Brilliant. Well, we'll talk about that a bit more detail anyway shortly. So obviously it has been a very difficult year and a very different year. So from your perspective, I mean, how have you guys been able to look after your customers and manage the business since lockdown began way back in March?
So I think the challenge for myself and my colleague Rob Gellison, who support the drug delivery and formulation market, is we've been used to visiting customers. We've been used to going to events such as this and meeting folks in person. I think we've done a very good job of meeting with the leaders in the industry and trying to do stability trials or look at their challenges if they have challenges with their packaging. Not having that personal connection and not being able to be exposed to a broader group of customers, or specifically people within the customers, has been challenging. And we've obviously done, like many companies, is we're using Zoom, and we're using, in our case, Microsoft Teams to do WebExes and things like that. And, pretty critical to our business is the customers that have challenges with silicone in their packages. How can we enable the testing and things that go along with trying to do their stability trials? So we're doing a lot of that remotely, and that seems to work well. But I think also our customers are having challenges is that they can't have people in the labs to the degree they had before. So projects have maybe slowed down a little bit more, unless there's been a real pull to solve a problem quickly.
All right. Okay. Now, let's talk about, obviously, silicone-free prefilled syringe packaging. Why is that important in the first place?
So there's some segment of the market. I think different companies have put it at about 10–15% of the molecules have some degree of sensitivity to silicone. Challenges that our customers typically are faced with is they may have aggregation. That is sort of where silicone acts as an enabler for that aggregation. Customers also have issues with particles, subvisible particles, and if you eliminate the silicone, you can reduce logarithmically, really significantly reduce particles. So folks that may be challenged with particle counts with their drug product, we can help alleviate some of that by giving them a silicone-free package. One of the other areas is silicone over time, over aging will migrate. So they see very different performances with their injection profile. And in some cases, especially with auto injectors where you don't have a person or a healthcare professional that can compensate for that, if the silicone happens to be absorbed into the drug product or migrate over time, what folks will see is sort of two phenomena. One is auto injector stalling. So they may have an expectation of an injection time, maybe let's just make a number up, 7 seconds for an auto injector, and maybe one in so many, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 500 may take 12 seconds or 15 seconds. That can be a problem for folks because it falls outside, you know, what their patients are used to seeing, and that can create a complaint. And the other thing we see is maybe the auto injector doesn't fire at all, and that's a problem too. So with the elimination of silicone, we don't have that variable in our system, and we have very consistent injection times. So, and of the testing we've done and with our partners in the auto injector companies, with aging, even up to a year or 2 years, what you'll see is that our injection time will stay consistent. So we've eliminated one of the potential problems that customers are challenged with.
Right. Okay. So I know you're talking next week at DDF. So what are you covering? Is that everything you've spoken about, or is there additional stuff that you'll also be talking about next week?
Well, there's kind of 4 main points in our presentation or our conversation. One is I think the pharma companies are seeing more and more higher doses. Instead of being limited to a 1 ml dose, we're seeing some molecules going to 2 ml, going into a 2.25 syringe. And with that, you know, one of the challenges is the USP standards around particle counts. It's not based on the volume of the injection, it's based on a specific injection. So if you inject 1 ml or 2 ml, you're limited to the number of particles, the same number of particles. And, you know, a lot of these newer products, they're trying to put more active pharmaceutical ingredient in the injection, more biologic molecules, trying to extend the time between injections. All that means is they're putting more molecules into the syringe. The particles are going to be, molecules are going to be closer together, and you could create aggregation, but also the natural process of making these drugs. You have to be aware that you may have particles in the syringe, you may have particles on the plunger, and you're going to have particles in the drug product. And independent of the volume you're putting into the patient, you need to be well below those USP standards. So we're going to talk about that. And again, we're going to talk about higher concentrations and what that does if there's silicone present. We'd like to also talk about the ophthalmic market, which has their own unique issues.
Right.
Things such as floaters, inflammation, interocular pressure increases over time, and really how can we help with a silicone-free solution enable and improve the patient experience with ocular injections. Right. And then lastly, we want to talk about aging. What happens with aging. These prefilled syringes have a life expectancy of 1 to 2 years. By eliminating the silicone, does that add any value to our customers by eliminating a source of variability?
And now
So
I'm curious, does it? I don't want you to give away the presentation, but does it help if you remove the silicone?
yeah, it helps. I think there's definitely molecules that have the challenges and would definitely help those. I don't think it's a solution for everything.
Right.
I think silicone has been proven to be a useful tool in allowing syringes to work. So I don't think everybody needs to run out and change to a silicone-free product, but I think what we're really looking for is those applications that have been challenged
Sure.
and need to have you know, a newer, unique solution for their problems.
Brilliant. Okay. So if people want to know more, obviously you're presenting next week. So when are you actually presenting at
So
the event?
I'm on the schedule for Monday the 14th from 1:50 to 2:25 Central Time, U.S. Central Time. And I think there's going to be an opportunity for folks to ask questions or at least email questions or message questions. And if we don't have time and a lot of time, I think customers should feel free to reach out to myself or my European counterpart, Rob Gellison, and we'll help get back to the customers on what we can do to help.
Brilliant. Well, that platform actually, which DDF is using, is Swapcar, which is a very good platform actually, and it's very easy to connect on that platform. So if you are actually attending DDF next week, then I would suggest that you definitely do connect with Russ and his colleagues at the show. It's very, very easy to do. You just find them and you click connect and they can connect. You can also very easily have video calls on there as well, again, because I've used it in the past. So it's a good platform from that perspective. And obviously you can check out Russ's presentation itself, and you can visit they've got a virtual booth as well, so to speak, which you can also see. Now, if you can't do any of those because you're not a delegate at DDF, how can people find out more information, Russ, if they're not actually at the show?
So our website, the company website is www.gore.com. And probably an easier way is to just do silicone-prefilled syringes Gore and up in your search engine, and I think we'll pop up.
Yeah, well, you don't even have to do that actually, people, because I'm going to put those links above this video to make life easier for you. So don't worry about that in terms of taking it down. So Russ will send me that, and I'll make sure that's above the video, so when it goes live for you guys. Russ, it's a pleasure to see you. I'm sorry we haven't had a chance to catch up in such a long time, because I'm so used to seeing your smiley face. And actually, for people who don't know Russ, he doesn't look this grizzly normally, but
No.
he, you know, he's got a big beard now since last time I saw him. So.
This is what I call the COVID beard.
Yeah,
so.
well, I had one before. It just got whiter, actually, and my hair's got less. That's all that's happened over the last 9 months. But anyway, well, Russ, all I can say is thank you very much for taking time out to speak to me. I really hope the presentation goes well next week and the event goes well for you. And I hope, for those who don't know, Russ is having a bit of back problems actually, so I hope your back recovers very, very quickly as well, my friend. Thank you for giving.
Not a fun thing.
No, it isn't. No, it certainly isn't. So I hope you full recovery from that. I hope everybody found that useful. Again, as I say, if you're attending DDF and you want to know more, please check out the presentation. Connect with Russ and Rob at on the platform. It's dead easy, and check them out on the booth. If you're not at DDF, then check out the links, as I say, above there. But as always, thank you very much for taking time out to watch. Rob, I'll hopefully catch up with you soon. And everyone else, I look forward to seeing you again next time. And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. It was good talking to you.